I did something that most business owners never get to see. I recorded my $2,000 plus buying process from start to finish. And what you'll see will shock you because it shocked me. You'll see that much of your marketing focus is irrelevant because it doesn't tap into how people are actually making buying decisions. And the companies that find this out first are going to leave their competitors in the dust over the next few years. Now, I want to start with one of my own buying experiences that I actually went through the other week, about 2 weeks ago, actually. I was looking for a new email marketing newsletter tool for my business. I wanted to start capturing email addresses and sending regular newsletters to my audience from YouTube. Obviously, I'm in digital marketing, so I know the market kind of, and I had some options in my mind, but I wasn't sure which one to go for because there's so many options out there. And I sat down one day and said, today I need to make a decision. I want to take action. This was a big buying decision for me because it's something that once I start using one of these platforms, I'm kind of tied in and it's going to be worth thousands. So in this video, we're going to talk about my buying process, the sort of things I'd be asking ChatGPT, how ChatGPT then responds to these and the sort of queries and where it's pulling its information, and ultimately which one I chose so that we can reverse engineer that as a brand and say, well, I need to show up in these places to make someone buy my product. If you do want your business to show up on ChatGPT, then I've created the whole AI era playbook, how to rank on AI and other LLMs compared to Google. You can get that link below in the comments completely for free. So for starters, I just wanted to start from scratch, and you can see my initial search here is much deeper than a normal SEO search. I was probably searching before. I was like, best newsletter tool and reading through a list of being like, they all feel the same to me. But on ChatGPT, I'm able to go much deeper. So, I'm almost mid thought when I start prompting. For my YouTube channel, initial context, I want to add a newsletter feature. I need to be able to create landing pages and get people to sign up for lead magnets, then deliver the lead magnet along with running the newsletter with segmented audience. Which tool is best for this? So I've got some really core things. It's a newsletter. I need it to have a landing page feature so that I can easily create pages for resources for people that they need to be able to sign up for. Then the tool needs to deliver the lead magnet or the resource as well as segment. And I want to know which is best for this. So there's a lot to take in and decipher in that. And you might think all the tools should be able to do that, but in their various iterations, not all of them had quite all the functionality I needed as, I guess, a YouTube creator and digital marketer rather than maybe a big enterprise business. And we can start to break down. Obviously, it comes back with some recommendations when we'll get to that in a minute, but we can actually see how ChatGPT is thinking. We can see what it's looking at in terms of, I'm based in the UK. It knows I'm based in the UK. So it actually starts adding things in there for me, not just the list of features that I wanted, but GDPR compliance as well, and starts making its sort of first iteration list of potential options and features for YouTube creators. So you can see how it's defining me really far down the funnel here. We need all these things, and it's got to be able to executable for this type of person. We can see as it starts to browse, we can then start to see it's thinking, it's browsing all the newsletter tools in comparison. So it's starting to look at, we can see the sources here that actually goes through, Tech Radar. It's actually going through not just best email marketing, but best landing page builder as well. It's going to look at. So it's looking at all sorts of things. Are there any email marketing platforms that are coming up on this best landing page creator? You can see where else it goes. It goes to YouTube. What else is it picked out from YouTube? It's gone and found Beehive, which is a email marketing newsletter tool. And you can see all the sources it's pulling from initially is not necessarily the brands, but probably pulling from Reddit, Tech Radar, and YouTube and some other places to actually start narrowing down a list of some potential options. And then it starts digging into potential options and goes through them one by one. ConvertKit, Beehive, MailerLite, it starts going through those companies. Obviously, it goes through to find options, and then it checks those options both on brands' websites and other references as well, which we can see down here. Now, a lot of people talk about GEO and ranking on AI tools as citations elsewhere around the web. But one thing they miss, it seems, is actually your own websites. This is where people, ChatGPT, other tools are confirming a lot of information. You can see here, landing pages included. It's confirming that actually ConvertKit has these features in it. So having really deep feature-rich pages on your website, it's not good enough necessarily to just have one page about your tool and think, well, I've kind of mentioned everything a bit. You're actually going to be needing to build out much deeper pages about what your tool can do and who it's suited for as well. And actually, you can see in ConvertKit, such a great option, and probably why it's ranked so well is because you can see straight away they've targeted their USP so that either a human or AI reading this, creator for creators who mean business, email first operating system for creators, in their meta description as well. It is. You can also see they have a use cases section, which has a list of different use cases you can see here for all the types of people it will work for. And it even includes YouTubers. Now, most people don't go as deep on these use cases because there's not much Google search volume there. But you can see this is a big buying decision worth thousands of dollars potentially. So it's worth having these deep pages, especially now AI goes deeper to try and get this context. You can see again on Beehive, it's again looking at the Beehive site to actually go through and pull out citations of what this tool can do based on their website. So it's gone into their knowledge base here and looked at what sort of automations this can offer. Now, if you were to compare this to an email or newsletter tool that kind of like touched around the edges and didn't go that deep and sort of thought, well, users will find out as they use it, or we'll put it behind a paywall or something like that, you're just not going to show up compared to the people that are actually going deep with content on their site. So that's the first thing I want to drive home is making sure you're building out a deep website of your use cases, the industries you serve, your perfect customers, the locations you serve, all of those things, going really deep in targeting your ICPs that might be searching around in this manner on ChatGPT and other AI tools. Now, interestingly as well here, it actually comes down and brings me up a recommendation with a quick setup plan. So not just the tool, but like how you can leverage them. Again, it's referencing actually deep in the help section of ConvertKit, or Kit as it's now called, for how I can run my incentive email, for example, for delivering my resources. So getting mentions on other websites, obviously really important because they might have a different user experience to what you think, or even I'm seeing a lot of how-to guides. So we can click the sources button here as well. And again, reverse engineer this stuff. So we can see in the citations just how many pages on ConvertKit, which is the top option, ChatGPT is referenced, because all of those features that I wanted, those 4 or 5 features, ConvertKit have got information. They've got pages targeting me as a YouTuber. They've got pages targeting how to sell digital products through it. It's got an alternative to Gumroad. I've used Gumroad in the past. That was how I was doing it before. I don't want to use that now. So this is all super interesting that will kind of break down exactly what these page structures look like for you at the end. You can see again Beehive deep into its website before then referencing other guides around the web and review areas. So that's step number 1 in terms of my initial prompt was super deep, and pulling out my initial prompt now is not just a few keywords, it's lots of features, lots of requests, and which tool suits that best. So your website needs to reflect all those potential use cases and features that someone might want in their particular situation. So that customer research is super important. Now, moving on in the next step of my buying process, how do I deliver a lead magnet like a playbook or an SCP through a doc link in an automated sequence? I'm a bit fuzzy on the step of how do I deliver that resource after I get someone to sign up for my email list. I wanted some clarity on that. So again, ChatGPT went to explain how I might do that, and in the context of each platform as well, about how they can offer that. But this was more a point about like, actually, I took a step back in my buying process. I was like, actually, how do I perform that function so I can understand which tool can do this? Then we took a bit of a tangent. This one probably takes a bit of a surprise that you might not like filter into the smooth, clean buying process. It's messy, isn't it? Of people, how people arrive at decisions. Does SendFox have any of these features? SendFox wasn't actually mentioned in our original list, but I know the market a bit. I've done some research higher up the funnel, and I was interested. They have a lifetime deal. You can get it for $49. That's going to save me thousands of dollars over the years. So I actually wanted to know, does SendFox offer this offer these features? And again, it went away, started to think about clarifying these informations and how SendFox works. And you can see again the references it looked at SendFox's website, AppSumo, where it's listed and talked about a lot, social media, Facebook, other people using it on Reddit, for example. Is SendFox any good for email lists? Even this Reddit post 5 years ago, is SendFox good for email lists? It's got one post on there and that's it. So as a marketing person, if you're reverse engineering your searches and looking where ChatGPT is posting, this is absolute. This is an easy target. You just have to have some Reddit accounts or a Reddit account to go and talk about, like, is SendFox any good for email list? Answer that question really easily for people to find and ChatGPT to find. So you can actually start unearthing stuff deep in the web that you might not think is any relevance anymore, that is actually really important. And you can see again, it's going through SendFox to find all the answers to give me, to try and work out, does it do this or not? If this information was actually presented really easily, then it might actually be surfaced in an even more sort of clinical way. But I needed to go a bit deeper again. I was like, that hasn't quite. I've got one thing that I really want to do, which is probably something that I didn't mention in my original buying criteria that I've just added on. Again, messying that picture again. Does it allow me to publish landing pages on a custom domain? Because I want it to be on elliottprince.com, not under a SendFox landing page, for example. And this is where it doesn't seem to be supported. So it's actually going to be struck off my buying list because I don't want to use this tool, which is a shame, but it doesn't quite fit my exact thing that I'm looking for. It has smart pages, but you can't map to your own domain. Now, I don't know if this is 100% true or not. That's what I thought. And I asked ChatGPT to confirm this with me. Now, if this is just a lack of clarity from SendFox, then that's a missing thing that they've missed in their marketing. It appears on their website you can validate your main to improve deliverability of your emails, but doesn't appear that that's necessarily going to mean that my landing pages are going to be on a separate domain. It's for the deliverability of an email. So I'm still assuming that's correct. If it's not, then that's a missed sale really for SendFox there, because there's not enough information on their website. Otherwise, fine. Now we kind of got down to that. I was kind of in my buying process at the business end, after going through these prompts back and forth, was really coming down to price. And one thing I noticed was, price wise, Beehive is more expensive than Kit on their basic plan. I think if we go through and look, we could probably see the pricing. We can confirm this quite easily. Scale $43 a month up to 1,000 subs. Let's say 1,000 subs on the creator plan, on their basic plan on Kit, was $25 a month. And this was interesting in my mind because, okay, Beehive is quite a lot more expensive on their basic plan, but why? Like, is it giving me any more value? And this is where, again, we can break down how ChatGPT is thinking again. It's obviously gone to the pricing pages of both ConvertKit and Beehive, as we just did. As you can see here, you click these two links and you'll see that coming up, those two pages, boom, boom. So making sure you have clear pricing pages that a lot of people miss, especially service industry people. You know, if you're looking to find out prices of marketing agencies or something in the area and trying to compare them, but you don't have prices, then you might not get served if someone's researching around you, for example. But then it also goes out and starts talking about other reviews, other sources of information, to actually try to understand how they differ and what's best in here. And this is a really important final point, because this is where I'm making my buying process. And you can see here, it's got versus terms in here from other websites. This random website that I've never heard of, knockedupmoney.com, has got an in-depth versus this versus that, Beehive versus ConvertKit. So has this moosend.com, which I'm assuming is a competitor as well, has actually got that information in there as well. And it's actually pulling and looking at that and referencing those as it goes through to try and work out the answer to my question. Well, what am I missing here? And you can see it's thinking through what I'm going to get for $43 a month at Beehive versus $25 a month with Kit. So, and actually then referencing what I care about again. And you can see here, taking back all the conversation we've had: landing pages, lead magnets, segmented audience growth, particularly custom domains. Here's a balanced response. And then actually starting to build its answer. So, short answer, no. For your use case, Kit entry plan gives you better value unless you plan to lean hard into Beehive's growth levers. So it's understood what I want, but my particular deeply targeted requirements as a YouTube creator and an SEO specialist, and compared that and come out with its answer. And ultimately, which do you think I went with? I went with Kit because it did everything I needed and the price was better and I wasn't missing anything. So the playbook for making sales on ChatGPT is way deeper than just we need to rank for this keyword. Because as we've just seen, people like me who are using this are going way deeper in trying to understand what the best solution is for them. You can see those bottom of funnel landing pages, the use cases, the locations, the industry you cover, who your product is built for, the pricing. Obviously, so many people don't put pricing. SaaS companies are quite good at it. So many other companies don't put pricing on there. Makes it really hard for people to compare your price, or not just price, but what they get for their price, which talks about, again, features, making sure your features are all included, all built out, talked about in depth on your website, because I want specific features in what I'm buying. How-to guides, because I'm talking with ChatGPT about, hey, at the end of the day, I want to achieve this. How do I do that? Can this tool do it for me? So if you've got how-to guides, which talks about how your tool does it, you're going to be winning that. X versus Y guides, comparison guides, super important, makes it easy to compare one against another directly. Publish them on your own website, get them published on other websites, other guest posts, get your brand talked about in this manner elsewhere. And the other thing we picked up on there as well, which is a well-known one now, is Reddit posts, forum posts. Even if they're old, they still rank on search on Google a lot, and they're being picked up by AI as reference to confirm some of this information. So don't sleep on them. Go and find all the Reddit posts that are relevant to your product. They might even be talking directly about your product, and make sure you're getting your brand mentioned and getting the right features, prices, who they're for, how they can be used, included in your responses on Reddit and other forums and social media. And if you want to go deeper on this, then I've actually created a complete AI ranking playbook, which I'll put a link to in the comments. You can grab this and it goes through everything, and watch this next video comparing how to rank on ChatGPT to how to rank on Google.